Happy November. October is behind us, which means that Halloween is done. I don't know about you guys, but my Halloween costume this year was pretty epic. I'm still wearing the jacket. But if your Bob is anything like my Baba, then she doesn't care about Halloween, she doesn't care about your costume, and she doesn't care about trick-or-treaters. But I will tell you one thing that she does care about. Pumpkins, or a tikva. Why? Well, it's the primary ingredient in something called tikvarnik. Before there was Halloween, there was tikvarnik, and it's time that we made it. My name's Nick Zadowski, and this is the Better Balkan. Alright, let's get started and let's get ready. We're gonna suit up. It's always important to be ready before you start a good tikvarnik. So we're locked and loaded, and of course, drink it. The Zdravi. First things first, we have to select the perfect tikva. I think we have a winner. Now that we've selected our tikva, we're going to open it up, take out the seeds, and cut it into good-sized big chunks. After you've already quartered your pieces, you can just take your knife and run it on the inside like this. It's actually easier to clean it out in this way than to try to hollow it out with a spoon. But you can do it either way, whichever one you prefer. I like this way. Now that they've been quartered and de-seeded, what we want to do is peel the outside rind. So get yourself a vegetable peeler and start peeling. Here's your Balkan tip of the day. When peeling pumpkins, have somebody else do it. You're doing a great job, by the way. After you get them peeled, they'll look something like this. Now that we got them cleaned up, I've preheated the oven to 400 stepani. I'm oiling it up a pot right now, or a pan. And what I'm gonna do is, we're gonna bake our pieces. What I wanna do with our tikva is actually cut them up into smaller pieces because I want them to cook a little bit faster. So this kind of big chunk right now, we're going to cut it into thinner strips. Like that. Now that our tikva's in the oven, we're going to leave it in there until it's pretty much soft to the touch. In the meantime, we're going to get everything else ready. So we're going to get ourselves a baking tray. Now I like these kinds of round baking trays because basically, if you open it up, it detaches. So it's great for building up whatever you're gonna put in here, i.e. our tikvarnik, and then when it's done, we can remove it and we'll have a nice, pretty, round presentation. I'm a big fan of round foods. If you look back in our archives on our zelnik episode, I used puff pastry squares for our zelnik. We're gonna use something a little bit different today. This time, I'm gonna use phyllo dough. It's basically long sheets of very, very thin dough. You just it's almost like a sheet of dough that you just throw on there. So I think it's gonna be a fun change from what we already did with the zelnik episode. Now when you take your phyllo dough out, it's gonna look like a very neatly packed burrito. So it looks like this. There you go. And it begins to unroll like that, like sheets. So these have been in the oven for about an hour or so. So now they're out, and the way you can check if they're ready, get yourself a nice knife, and then just kind of poke them a little bit, and they should go in really, really nice and smooth. Now, if you want, you can just kind of leave these out until they're cool enough to touch. I'm an impatient guy, I don't want to wait, so I'm going to put them in a plate right now, and we're going to put them in the fridge and kind of do more of a rapid cool. Now, while my tikva is cooling in the refrigerator, I'm all set up for it with my food processor. I'm doing something a little bit different than what most traditional babas do. Most of them will just take it, they'll peel it, and they'll take a grater, and then they'll grate over it, and then they'll use that as kind of like the filling. And they'll sweeten up their filling and they'll put it inside their dough, as you're gonna see that we do. That's fine if you want to do that. I personally don't like that method. I like my tikva really, really smooth, almost like mashed potatoes. I'm kind of really particular about texture in my pastries especially. So when that's done cooling, we're gonna put it in my food processor, and this kind of doubles as a blender and a food processor, and we're gonna blend it up until it's nice and then creamy smooth. Same thing works if I use like a mashed potato masher. That'll work too, but it's still a little bit chunky for my taste, so I want to make this as smooth and creamy as I possibly can. Our tikva's out of the refrigerator, nice and cool, so I'm going to start loading up my blender or food processor, whichever one you got at home. Now that it's in, we're going to close up our blender and then put our motor up top, and then our pulser. A little bit of milk. You could also use heavy cream. It works good too. I'm also going to fill in a few more pieces right now. And after some love, it should start looking like that. Now that our tikva's been blended up thoroughly, I'm going to pour it in a bowl right now. Ooh, it's nice and thick. And in this bowl, we're gonna add all our flavors to it. Okay, now our tikva mixture is almost done. You can play with this however you want and really kind of explore flavors. I mean, you can put in some jam in here, strawberries, anything you really want to see in there. This right now is just basically tikva, a little bit of honey, and some salt, eggs, and now I'm just going to add in just a little bit of sugar. Just to sweeten it up a little bit. Again, I'm trying to keep this more on the subtle side. I don't want it to be super, super over sweet. Now that we have our phyllo dough layered out, you can kind of get an idea of where it's gonna be placed inside your pan. So first things first, we gotta oil our pan. Make sure you oil it nice and good. Nothing sadder than being done after all this and having it all rip apart. When our layer is done, we're just gonna do a quick little drizzle of oil, just like that. And now we're ready for our filling. And now we add in our mixture. Make sure you spread it out nice and even in every little nook and cranny. And that's our first layer. Now with this next one, I'm actually gonna peel these into a couple of strips like this. And then kind of crumple them inside. Now for the final layer, what we're going to do is kind of fold those in just like that. And we're going to fold in all those excess pieces that have been flopping out right on in. To this, we're going to drizzle just a little bit of oil on top. Now that it's all been finished up, I just cracked 2 eggs in this. We're going to beat them a little bit and give it a little bit of an egg bath. After you've pretty much did all your layers, folded it in, and gave it an egg wash, it'll look something like this. Now that it's done, I'm going to put it in the oven. Oven's been set about 375 stepani until it's pretty much golden brown. Well, it's in the oven now, so all we gotta do is wait. What should we do? And after your tikvenik comes out of the oven, it should look a little something like this. Now is the moment of truth to make sure that we grease this pan well enough and to see if this will come out nice and clean. That's looking pretty good to me. Okay, so far so good. Guys, this is my very first tikvenik. I did not practice this before we started filming because I like to kind of do things on the fly. And that is tikvarnik. Remember, next Halloween, don't just carve up all your pumpkins and then throw them away. Save them and then make your own tikvarnik. Remember to start your November off with something sweet. My name's Nick Tadovsky. This has been The Better Balkan. Hey guys, if you like what you've been seeing and you want a more interactive experience, you can head on down to Facebook and search under The Better Balkan. While you're there, you'll be able to find links to all of my videos. You can chat with me directly, send me a message if you have any questions about any of the recipes that I've covered, any of the music on the show, or if you have any suggestions about recipes that you want to see me cover. If you have suggestions about recipes, please have a couple of pictures of these recipes. Sometimes these things are a little bit hard to find, so pictures would be a big help. If you have any questions about life in general, I'll be happy to answer them. Even if I don't know the answer, I'll be happy to make something up. That being said, hope you've been enjoying the videos. Keep on cooking.